presented by Myth and Greet. Leave a like and subscribe.
Have you ever wondered how a single decision can change the fate of entire nations and echo through centuries as an immortal legend? The Trojan War wasn't just a battle of swords and shields. It was a clash of love, vanity, and betrayal that intertwined gods and mortals. Get ready to dive into one of the most epic stories of all time, where heroes like Achilles and Hector and unforgettable figures like Helen and Paris face their destinies in a saga that shaped mythology forever. Are you ready to relive this incredible journey? Imagine a world where gods and mortals coexist, a realm bursting with intense passions and dangerous ambitions. It is here that the Trojan War finds its beginning, ignited by a single yet fateful act of vanity. During the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, all the gods of Olympus were invited, except for Eris, the goddess of discord. Insulted by her exclusion, Eris cast a golden apple into the celebration, inscribed with the words, "To the fairest." The mysterious object caused an uproar. 3 goddesses laid claim to the apple: Hera, the regal queen of the gods; Athena, the wise and strategic goddess of war; and Aphrodite, the alluring goddess of love. Unable to resolve their dispute, they turned to Zeus, who wisely chose not to get involved. Instead, he assigned the task to Paris, a young Trojan prince known as much for his striking beauty as for his inexperience. The 3 goddesses sought to sway him with enticing offers. Hera promised him unlimited power and dominion over all lands. Athena offered unparalleled wisdom and assured victory in every battle. But Aphrodite whispered the most irresistible temptation of all, the love of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Sparta. Enchanted by Aphrodite's promise, Paris awarded her the golden apple, a decision that not only fueled the rivalry among the goddesses, but also sealed the fate of his homeland. As Paris set out on his journey to Sparta, guided by Aphrodite's promise, an invisible storm began to brew. Little did he know, his selfish desire would spark a conflict that would echo through the ages, forever shaping the myths of gods and mortals alike. Paris arrived in Sparta and was warmly welcomed by King Menelaus, a powerful man deeply devoted to his wife Helen. Helen's beauty seemed almost divine, her presence radiating a supernatural charm that mesmerized everyone she encountered. Yet, no one could have foreseen that she would become the catalyst for a war that would reshape history. Driven by Aphrodite's promise and blinded by passion, Paris wasted no time. During Menelaus' absence, he and Helen fled to Troy, leaving behind not just a betrayed husband, but a world teetering on the brink of chaos. Heartbroken and enraged, Menelaus turned to his brother Agamemnon, the king of Mycenae and one of the most influential leaders in Greece. Together, they would set in motion a chain of events that would unite the Greek kingdoms against Troy, marking the dawn of an epic conflict. Agamemnon saw in Menelaus' dishonor an opportunity to consolidate the power of the Greek realms under his own rule. With that in mind, he summoned the kings from all corners of Greece, invoking an ancient oath to protect Helena's honor at any cost. Among those called were the legendary warrior Achilles, whose strength was unparalleled, and the cunning Odysseus, known for his strategic mind. As the Greek armies gathered under Agamemnon's banner, a shadow of destruction began to loom over Troy. The city, proud and guarded by its towering walls, was now on the brink of a siege that would be remembered for generations. The proud Trojans, confident in their defenses, braced for the storm that was about to unleash upon them. The Greek fleet, comprised of thousands of ships, sailed across the Aegean Sea and arrived at the shores of Troy, bearing the weight of war. Leading this vast army was Agamemnon, a figure both commanding and determined to lay waste to the city harboring Paris and Helen. Though Agamemnon was the brain behind the Greek offensive, it was Achilles who was the heart, a warrior whose legendary status preceded his mere presence. Achilles, the son of the sea goddess Thetis, was a man marked by his destiny. Almost invulnerable throughout his body except for his heel, he fought with a fury that seemed almost divine. Beside him, other Greek heroes shone brightly: Ajax with his colossal strength, and Odysseus, whose clever plans often tipped the scales in favor of the Greeks. On the Trojan side, Hector, the eldest son of King Priam, emerged as the greatest defender of his homeland. Brave and possessed of unyielding honor, Hector stood in stark contrast to the impetuous Achilles. While the Trojan fought for his family and city, Achilles seemed driven more by personal glory than any sense of loyalty. For years, the siege of Troy was marked by brutal combat and tension even among the Greeks themselves. One of the most dramatic moments was the confrontation between Agamemnon and Achilles, when the commander took away a captive whom Achilles considered his prize of war. Hurt in his pride, Achilles withdrew from the battle, a move that nearly led the Greeks to defeat. However, when Achilles' closest friend Patroclus was killed in battle by Hector, something shifted. The pride that had kept Achilles from fighting was replaced by fury, and the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the inevitable confrontation between the two greatest warriors of this epic war. Moved by the pain of losing Patroclus, Achilles returned to the battlefield as an unstoppable force. His fury was almost supernatural, a reflection of his own semi-divine nature. He was consumed by a thirst for vengeance, and his target was clear: Hector, the greatest warrior of Troy, the man responsible for his closest friend's death. From the heights of the city walls, King Priam and Queen Hecuba pleaded for Hector not to face Achilles. They knew that even the bravery of their prince might not be enough against the wrath of a man who seemed almost immortal. But Hector, guided by his sense of honor and his duty as Troy's protector, refused to retreat. Their duel was a terrifying spectacle. Hector, agile and skilled, fought with all he had, but Achilles was relentless. The battle culminated in a fatal blow from Achilles, claiming the life of Hector. In a cruel act, he tied the body of the Trojan to his chariot and dragged it away. This act of disrespect shocked even the gods, who intervened to ensure that Hector's body was returned to Priam. In a moving scene, the old king went to the Greek camp and on his knees begged for the dignity of his son. Moved by Priam's grief, Achilles relented, showing a glimpse of humanity amid his thirst for blood. After years of war and countless losses on both sides, it seemed that Troy's resistance would never be broken. Its towering walls stood as symbols of the resilience of its people. But within the heart of the Greek army, Odysseus devised a daring plan, one that would go down in history as one of the greatest military strategies: the Trojan Horse. The plan involved constructing a massive wooden horse, an apparently innocent symbol of surrender. Inside this hollow structure, the most skilled Greek warriors would be concealed, ready to strike. The rest of the Greek army would then stage a retreat, leaving the horse as an offering to the goddess Athena, playing on the superstitions of the Trojans. Trojans, weary from the long war and emboldened by the departure of the Greeks, brought the horse inside their city despite warnings from the priest Laocoonte, who feared a trap. During the night, while Troy celebrated its apparent victory, the hidden warriors emerged from the horse and opened the city gates for the returning Greek army, which had come back silently. The attack was devastating. Troy, which had held out for so long, fell in a single night of horror and destruction. Paris, the prince who had ignited the conflict, met his end at the hands of a Greek archer. Helena was taken back to Sparta, and the city that once was grand was reduced to smoldering ruins. So ended the Trojan War, but its legacy extended far beyond the ashes of the city. Heroes like Achilles and Odysseus continued their journeys, and the tales of this epic conflict would be told for generations. These stories of honor, betrayal, and sacrifice continue to shape our understanding of courage and fate, reminding us of the timeless struggles between gods and mortals. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. If there's anything you'd like to discuss or suggest, please leave it in the comments section. Thank you very much. Until next time.